Welcome back, my fellow Heroclix players. Today we're going to be talking about Quadrant 3 of the Gotham Museum indoor map. Last time we left off, we talked about this section over here, where we discussed the different ways you can use the funnels over here to your advantage and some of the things you have to look out for. So today we're going to be talking about this quadrant over here. Let's say you started on this side of the map. You have a couple figures with you. You got about, let's say, 4 figures, and your opponent has 4 figures. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you wanted to utilize this side of the map, you have this. You have this right here, indoor blocking terrain, hindering, obscuring, hindering. And you have this right here, this wall. You can use this to your advantage. How I like to use this map, I like to use characters with hypersonic speed on it, and move in, attack, and then move out. I could also use heavy hitters. I think we talked about earlier in my other videos, but we could use heavy hitters with strong defense, strong attacks such as close combat attacks, such as close combat expert or charge, or combat reflexes, and we could use these characters up here to block our opponent from getting into our area down here. Now, let's say we started on this side of the map. We want to go up here. We will put our characters close to the edge of this side, so we'll be able to maximize our movement. Looks like about 7 spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to get to there. If our opponent starts down here, it's going to force him to move up. Now, sometimes I've played this map and my opponent would start this area. If there's really 3 spots, you can start in the side corner, in the middle, and in the side corner. I've never seen anybody split them up, like one guy here, and one guy here. I've never seen that happen, but it's possible. You could do that. Depends on how you want your team to go. If you want to split them up in formation, let's say you're running a 3-man team, 300 points. You want to utilize the whole area of the map. Have this guy run down here. This guy can either go this way or this way. Kind of do a Y depending on where he's needed. Or he could go straight through the middle, blasting through this, moving through. Get a character like Bane or someone who has the improved movement ability that allows them to destroy walls or even attack through it. Bane, I think there's a couple out there with charge. I think even the limited edition, the WizKids Rocket Raccoon, he has he has like a detonator ability that allows him to destroy walls and other characters to destroy walls. That'd be good if you just want to blow up the place, get in, get out, get into your opponent. So the same thing can go for over here. I can put a character here, here, and or here, depending on how many I have. This is 3. Maybe I have a 5.5 character team. I want to do 2 characters here. Depending on how the characters work, I could have this, maybe a support character like Perplex, Leadership, maybe the Sheriff Steve Rogers. He wants to follow around this character right here that has some great powers that he wants to perplex himself. He wants to move up and attack. Another good way to utilize this map is with stealth. I played a guy today that used the Batman animated series Phantasm, where she was moving through the obscuring and was placing the smoke cloud and allowing her to move through it for free and then get the attack, or she would move through it and then end up in another spot of hindering terrain. He also ran characters with other Batman teams. It was a whole Batman team, so he was putting them into the hindering terrain, and the obscuring terrain. He had up here, obscuring and hindering. Yeah, he was up here, and I came down this way. I felt it was necessary. I was running Ivy with her biting vines, so I was dropping them here and here, and I was running the Gotham City Underworld with the starter set, Joker starter set, Ivy starter set, Harley Quinn, who could perplex too, and I had, I think, a Scarface range combat object was on Harley Quinn, and also I believe the uncommon Mr. Freeze, the black one, which he was tied up with Dr. Octopus arms, so he was running 3 lightning bolts with incapacitate and hitting people with his full damage. It's terrible because I faced a stealth team and I had characters with cure. The main team attacker was my Mr. Freeze, so I had to improvise and switch it out to the biting vines and use the Joker for his probability control and get closer to it. It became a stalemate. It pretty much ended up with both of us. He had his team in the stealth. Neither one of us could get characters. I was running an ID card, the call-in. It was the Avengers Roundtable. We were playing Golden Age. I ran the Avengers Roundtable. I called in a Spider-Man. He charged in, attacked somebody, and then he took it out with about all of his characters his next turn. So that was the only points he was able to score that match. So I ended up getting second. He got first, and we separated in points just by 30 points. I won the last 2 matches I fought, took them all out, and my opponent didn't get any characters. So it was all in all, it was good fun. So let's get back to business and talk about this map. So if you start out here, you're going to be able to utilize this area that's closest to you. You can move around this way and come up to the obscuring, and also move into the hindering terrain right here. If you want to turtle, you could call it turtling. I wait until I figure out my opponent to see how he's going to play, if he's going to rush in or if he's going to be patient and wait. I like to get my sights first, see which characters I can get lined up, see what he's lining up, what he's planning to do or she's planning to do, and see what my opponent has before I make any serious decisions. So I love using the funnel, and I was using it a lot down here when I was playing today. And if we are going to use the funnel on this side over here, we're going to want to either draw our character down to us, or we are going to be just within range to attack him somewhere over here and here, kind of like a pincer, waiting for him to come into us in this area. And again, it all depends on what your opponent is running. If he was running that team earlier that can move through blocking terrain, you're going to have to switch it up. You may want to move up here and then cause this funnel, these 2 squares, to be utilized for you to your advantage. You may want to stay back here to use it to your advantage. If you were to go down this way, you have the obscuring here and a ton of clear terrain with 1 obscuring. Now, you may be able to use that to your advantage, the obscuring, depending on your character. Maybe you have a character with stealth. This would be a great map for you. Run in stealth, you would run up here. You would stay in the shadows to keep your characters nice and safe and able to move freely through that. Now, let's say you had the one where the opponent split up. This guy went straight down the middle and he broke through here. Let's say Bane's coming over here. Now Bane has the option to continue to go straight through and come right towards me. I believe Bane has a 10 movement, maybe 11, but he's pretty dang fast. I would call him fast because he can move fast. He can move across the map. You know, you look at Flash with 14 movement, he can move pretty fast. He can get from here to here in one turn compared to a character that can get from here to just here in one turn. Let's say Flash is a little bit faster. So with this Bane coming straight down the middle, and you have a character coming around from the side, the top, and a character coming around the side this way. You decided to put your team over here and get them into position, expecting your opponent to come towards you and hit you head on. Now, he's only got one character that's coming over here, but he also has two characters that he is attempting to flank you with. If you put your strongest characters up here with like your close combat guys, you're going to be stuck back here with your support characters, or even over here where this character such as Bane is able to come right around through the middle and attack you. He may have somebody over here that's hypersonic speed, maybe a Flash himself, maybe he has a running shot guy, or maybe somebody that he can use a call-in or something to, like a ID card to get down here. Maybe he's running the Groot with the Colossal Retaliation, and he's hoping that he's moving characters over here for you to attack, and then he, boom, Colossal retaliates with a wonderful character that gets a free hit on you. That is going to cause the cluster up here. If he moves right there and you attack with this guy and you attack this guy, Colossal Retaliator comes in, you're now stuck. He may put the Colossal Retaliator right here, actually. You're now stuck right in this area. Right in this area. Which would lock up most of your characters and allow for the Bane, who's moving right down the middle, to come in and get the attacks from behind. So you'd be pincered in. But we see this coming. So with seeing this coming from our opponent, we can take the steps to adjust on the fly. We can move our characters back here. We can move our characters maybe up here. Maybe we want to catch them before they get to us. Maybe we want to set up a barrier right here to cause more movement for him to break through. Or maybe we want to come around the end and hope for him to break through this wall. And maybe ourselves move through this way. Maybe we have telekinesis ourselves or something, or a call-in ability that allows us to call in a character. Maybe we have run and shot. Maybe we can have plasticity. Maybe we have a bunch of different powers that can stop this. So it depends. We can't have one team that only has a handful of powers. This team that we have needs to have a toolbox of bullets and tools and weapons for us to use. Now, looking down here at this side of the map, we could also play defensively here and use these walls to our advantage. this wall down here as well. Maybe we want to hide back here and give ourselves the stealth bonus or the hindering terrain bonus, obscuring terrain bonus before we move, before we get him. We do not want to do this. By waiting back here for our opponent to attack, they can pincer us into these areas. They can flank us, and they can keep us locked in, unable to move. One of the beauties of Heroclix is the turns and the actions. So with your opponent locked up on one action, you may be able to get away, get to safety, recover, use support, use regen. Maybe you want to switch out characters. You want to move one of your support characters up to take some hits, and then keep your other characters in the back for after they've been hit a couple times. You want to weaken your opponent's characters with your support characters in order to get them on the same level as your weakened main guys, main attackers. By doing that, you will need space, and you do not have space down here in this area. But again, using the funnels to your advantage is what you're striving for, not using them to your disadvantage. And have your opponent funnel you. If you notice that you are getting funneled, or if you notice that he's trying to pull you in, take a breath, step back from it, and tell yourself, I'm getting funneled. I need to do something to disrupt the funnel, to break through, to get his characters in clear line of fire. If it's in hindering, so what? If he has stealth and you break the walls and it becomes hindering, you have to find a way to get out of that funnel. Don't let your opponent funnel you on this map. So that's it for quadrant number 3. Join me again later with quadrant number 4, and we'll be wrapping up the Gotham City Museum indoor map.